one of the biggest things that people are already complaining about is, as we talked about, the security vulnerabilities. When you sign up for Atlas, you have to give it access to your email, your calendar. You have to give it full access to everything. And as much as I love tech, that makes me cringe quite a bit. And it already screams vulnerabilities into my appointments, my calendars, my contacts. And I mean, I can't help but say, if we ever get a Terminator situation where Grok goes rogue and OpenAI starts emailing people on my contacts list, that would be pretty concerning. So what's your take on the first few days of Atlas launching?
I read into Atlas and read the privacy, the permissions that you have to give it, and was like, absolutely no way. I mean, first of all, it was only open to Mac, which is kind of shows how much of a joke of a release it was, to be honest. Because if you're only opening up to one platform in 2025 anymore, like, it's showing that you're just trying to grab articles, and now they're grabbing articles for a whole bunch of different reasons, ones they don't want, but frankly, ones they don't care, because OpenAI is that dumb.
Yeah. And do you think, I mean, there's also a few other articles that we've talked that popped up that now it's kind of like a resurgence of the browser wars, that like Microsoft is going to start working on their own AI browser. Do you think that this is just going to be a fancy extension, or do you think these AI browsers are going to be something that we actually use?
I think there'd be a fancy extension for those people who are crazy enough to give it that level of permission. I don't know about you, but like, there's no way I'm feeding all of my contact information into OpenAI. There's no way I'm letting OpenAI send emails for me or set an appointment. And sure enough, for good reasons, because with password hijacking coupled with a whole bunch of email and calendar permissions, like, who knows what could go wrong with that, right? I mean, and
Yeah.
OpenAI is silly enough I assume they've taken it into account and still don't care.
Yeah. So it just kind of turned into a fiasco. And outside of that day one launch and people saying that this is like a game changer, just trying to get clicks, I haven't seen too many people actually using it. Like, I saw more Vision Pro highlights than I've seen Atlas highlights.
Yeah, it says so. Layer X Security, which is a security firm, found that that Atlas was 90% more vulnerable to phishing attacks than Chrome or Edge, and that's not a typo. 90% more likely. So if if a phishing attack comes into your email, AI's ability to detect those phishing accounts are terrible, much lower rates than humans. So if something hits your email and it's going to click on it, and suddenly now you've just subjected your whole network into a phishing attack.
Yeah, it's pretty sketchy. So I want to show you this diagram right on this tab right here. You can kind of see the process of how somebody would be able to, how an attack would play out. The user would log into ChatGPT. The user then is tricked into launching a malicious link by social engineering. The malicious web. Yeah.
So really quick, that second bullet is just meaning somebody sent you an email. That's it. Like,
well, and
hackers just have to send you an email.
Could Atlas click on it?
Yes, that's the whole point. Yes, is that it'll send an email, it'll pick up an email out of yours, and it does a terrible job detecting phishing versus human, and then you have your next bullet point.
Yeah, the malicious web page triggers a CSRF request.
Cross-site request forgery.
Leveraging the fact that the user is already authenticated to inject hidden instructions into ChatGPT's memory without their knowledge. When the user queries ChatGPT for a legitimate purpose, the tainted memories will be invoked, leading to code execution.
Yep. So they can send an email, it triggers it, it loads it into ChatGPT's memory function. So now ChatGPT has that plus all of the contact information and everything, right? And then can run it based off of your permissions that you gave it.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
Here you have some more. In tests against over 100 in the wild web vulnerabilities and phishing attacks, Edge managed to stop 53% of them, followed by Google Chrome 47%, and then ChatGPT Atlas only stopped 7%.
Yep. I mean, this is real stuff. And this is part of the reason why you're seeing OpenAI lose, right? We're starting to see more and more of that. I'm actually going to be doing 2 different pieces on my channel this coming week, but there's a race to zero right now. OpenAI knows it's a race to zero, so they keep just throwing crap at the wall like this, and it's just getting worse and worse. Like, they keep releasing worse products. They keep trying to expand more. They keep trying to do, whether it's Sora to, which is going to just open them to just a massive amount of copyright lawsuits, to this kind of a terrible release of a browser that never should have seen the light of day. I mean, anything that's going to run at a 7% success rate for blocking security stuff is horrible. And it's just overall the whole thing. They keep being like, well, we'll get it better. We'll make it better. And it's like, no, you have to actually do product release management and actually do testing before you release a product. And they just are totally casting all caution to the wind. Meanwhile, Anthropic is just sitting there quietly and just released Skills last week, which is one of the most powerful tools you can use in any of the OpenAI tools, and quickly dominating the corporate space, while OpenAI is becoming the laughing stock of all of the AI.